was very excited when I heard Ryan Dinwiddie would be with us, one of my favorite guys, and he knows this, from Elk Grove, California. Played in the CFL with the Blue Bombers and Rough Riders, was the Fort Worth Bowl MVP way back in 2003, won a Grey Cup in 2018. There he is. And he won a Grey Cup this year as the head coach in 2018. Dinner, before we go any further, I saw you at the Grey Cup rally shaking your fist at the people that said this wasn't a good hire. I had your back, brother. From the day they hired you, I knew it was going to end in a championship, and man, you made everybody so proud. Have you come down from the high yet?
A little bit, still in shock. I woke up every morning over the last week, just trying to get ready to win a Grey Cup. I'm like, we've already won the Grey Cup. What am I doing? Enjoy your time. But you know me a long time. You knew when I was in SAS, this was probably going to be my future as far as getting into coaching. So, very opportunity to lead the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, hey, let's walk it back, man. And we got some time to do it. I watched the Grey Cup. I was here. And when they were introducing you coming out of the tunnel with the Argos, I thought about the 2007 Grey Cup. I'm going to say it like I said, our football viewers are going to love this. Your very first pro start came in a championship game, and you almost won it. Like, I'm sure that was the furthest thing from your mind when you were coming out of the tunnel in this Grey Cup, though.
Yo, it was. And I mean, going into the week, the media brought it up, right? And you got to relive the past a little bit, and you're really trying to focus on winning a football game and worry about not to get sidetracked, with some of those conversations. And it was unfortunate, didn't get it done. Thought we had a chance at the end. Everything happens for a reason. And then the opportunity to get it done here as a head coach, and kind of, I don't know, I guess the rewrite a little bit of history and finally get that grade to my belt.
Yeah, well, again, I was just as happy for you, man. It was a great story, but you say everything happens for a reason, and I'm with you. Like, I was banging the drum for you to be the head coach of the year last year in 2021, because you finished in first place, but you lost that East Final to Hamilton. How did that play a role into advancing to the big game this year and then winning it in your mind?
Well, I think so. I think just going into the season, we talked about discipline and, understanding the stage and handling ourselves a little bit better as a football club. I just think, we had a great opportunity last year in the East Final, and we didn't finish of it. And, those guys now understood, how hard it is to get to the Grey Cup, and then how hard it is to win that game. So that was our focus going into it. We knew we had high expectations, but it was up to us to make sure we got it done in the end. And the guys showed up ready to go in the East Final. I mean, Montreal was scoring. We went up 21-3. I thought we had, and they come back, and guys found a way to get it done. And then we had our moments in the Grey Cup that everybody probably thought we were going to lose that game at the end, and those guys came through at the end, and they stuck together. That's the main thing.
I'm going to talk about all your guys, but there's one guy, Brandon Banks, was in Hamilton for I don't know how many years, and obviously just decided, I'm not going to get it done here. I'm going to give Toronto a try. And he's 1 for 1 with the Toronto Argonauts as a Grey Cup champion. What did he mean to your club this year, and has he stopped partying yet since the Grey Cup?
Well, he went home for Thanksgiving, so he didn't get to stick around too much. But, just Brandon, I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's been close so many times in Hamilton. I think he played in 4 there. And, for him, didn't really sit well with some of their fans, I bet. And then for him to, jump ship and join our ship, the Argo ship. And, we found a way to get it done. And, so happy for him to finally get that Grey Cup, underneath his belt.
And about your locker room, what a tremendous group that you had there, Ryan. What can you say about them? And, was there any moment in the season that you said, this is a special group? Just talk about that group that won this championship. It was an upset, obviously.
Yeah, I think when we were 4-5, we lost to Calgary at home, and we had a big lead on them early. They made some adjustments at halftime, and we didn't adjust as well as we thought we should have in the second half. And we just sat there and said, guys, we're 4-5. We're a 4-5 football club. Quit reading the press clippings. Don't think you're better than you are. It's time for us to go to work and fix this thing. Let's get to 1-0. And then we went to 1-0 the next week. And I said, okay, guys, let's go to 2-0. And that was kind of our motto at the end of the stretch. And I think our guys finally understood what it's like to be a professional ball club and how hard it is to win and the focus that you need to do each week. And and be selfless and handle yourself in the right way on the sidelines, in the locker room, and different things. And we had some turmoil early, as you do in professional sports, but you got to overcome that, and that's your job to as a head coach to make sure your locker room can understand that. And I just felt like our guys came together. You look at that the last 11 game 9-2, and that's pretty impressive.
Dinner, do you have a philosophy? I'm sure you have several, but a case could have been made to cut your kicker very early on in the year, but you stuck with him. How are you with forgiving mistakes, I guess, with guy? How do you deal with situations like that as a head coach? Your own way.
Well, I think you have full power. Get rid of some players. There might have been a few guys that have been bounced mid-season, and Pinball. He makes those decisions on the roster. I take those players and coach them up the best I can, and make sure they're ready to go, and do my best at that. But yeah, there's some guys that probably could have got bounced early, and they didn't, and but we found a way to make it happen, and those guys came together, and Boris didn't have his best performance towards the end that he had the year before, but that happens with kickers. I mean, that's a tough job, a lot of pressure there.
You mentioned Pinners, so we should mention. I mean, him and I go back a long ways. We recognize each other's fire, and I've recognized your fire. I got fire. Pinball's got it. And he told me that he didn't really even know you until he hired you. Like, what? I think you've told me that story, but how did it come to be that he settled on you? And he was almost kind of like taking a chance. He didn't know you real well.
No, not at all. I mean, we've never even had a conversation. And, John Murphy got it going, got on the phone with me and said, hey, I think we got a chance for you to come in here. And I got on the phone with Pinball, and, I was going through the Ottawa thing at the time. And, he's like, just come up to Toronto. And so before they made the second in Ottawa before they hired Lapo, I went to Toronto, and we pretty much got it figured out and sat down with Pinner. And, he knows I'm a passionate guy. We're totally opposites in certain ways, right? But we're very passionate. He understands that. And he understands, I'm a football guy, and he's a people person, and combination.
Yeah, but I don't think you're that different. Like, he came on our show at Grey Cup. I was at Grey Cup week, and I said, Pinball, what's the secret to your success since you took over? And he said, we value people. And obviously, so do you, Ryan.
Well, that's the thing. When I told him, when I wanted to take this job, you value people. Everybody in your organization you treat as equals, and everybody's got a standard to live by. Everybody's got, but you don't put a tier on it, and everybody's treated fairly in our building, and with respect, as it should be, and you have fun with it too. Like, having fun is the main thing. You're going to have your ups and downs. Find ways to have fun with it, and be focused on the job at hand, and attack it. And I feel like we're going in the right direction. Pretty special to build it. Going to a new organization and doing it on your own. It'd be one thing to be in an organization they just kind of hand you the keys. You already been there. Easy to do. Going someplace fresh and meeting new people and building those relationships with the equipment guys, the medical staff, and then hiring a new staff, and then a whole new staff the next year, and just making sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, well, the thing is, your reputation preceded you before you got there. And one thing I've learned the last couple of years is you don't need a lot of friends. You just need a few good friends, and you'll be just fine. Speaking of looking ahead, what is the outlook for the Toronto Argonauts in 2023?
We'll see. I mean, I think we got a good nucleus of Canadian talent. We got some youth there. I feel really good about our O-line. It's probably going to be the best O-line we've had since I've been there. We get Peter back, which is going to be great. We got Ryan Hunter at the end. So I feel really good about that. Receiver-wise, we're good. Now we got to figure out what's going on with the quarterback situation. Got to sit down with Chad and McLeod and go from there. Get AJ back if we can, and add another back as well. We got to go get some new talent, and got to get the defense line better. I feel good about our secondary and our linebackers. Maybe add a little bit more youth to the secondary, but we got a chance to run it back, and it's not easy to do. But that's when I get home on Thursday. We're going to work, and looking forward to getting back and attacking.
Were you surprised by the turnout at the rally? Looked like a huge amount of people there.
I was. It was pretty neat. There was a great group of folks, and the funny part about it is that when I was finishing my little walk around and talking to some of the fans, this one guy cussed me out after we lost 4-5, he just sat there and waited in our locker room. He couldn't wait. He just reaming me, but he wanted an autograph. So it just shows you how fickle, some of these fans can be, some of the things you deal with. You just got to find ways to win and win them over. But it was great that they showed out and supported us. And you look at the Eastern Final, 20-some thousand fans. And, if we could build that, players love Toronto. They love the city of Toronto. Players want to come here, especially the kids, that are, they look into the music of Drake and the hype of the city, right? And it's a great city. So if we could build, a little fan base and do the things we're doing inside the building to keep building the brand, I think we got a great.
Good for you, because I probably wouldn't have signed that autograph. And lastly, while I have you, how do you feel Huff stepping down is going to affect the Calgary Stampeders since you spent so many quality years there?
Well, I think it's, Dave's going to do a great job. Learned a lot from Dave. And, in that building, you kind of, it's, football operations and everybody's kind of involved in a lot of difficult conversations as far as signing players, free agency, or we're going to let a guy go for, whatever reason, performance or just behavior in the locker room. So Dave's been there with Huff long enough. I know he's going to do a great job. I'm going to step down. I think he wants to step down a little bit more than being just the president, but he's going to be involved. I mean, he's so infectious and his leadership is amazing. So I don't think it's going to affect him at all. And if Huff did completely step away, I know Dave will do a great job as well.
Great analysis. I appreciate it. And Ryan, congratulations again. I never doubted it for a second. If anything, you're a year behind schedule. I knew you'd do it. So enjoy it for all that it is. And Merry Christmas to your young family, brother.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, man. Thanks, RP. Thanks for having me on.
You betcha. Ryan Dinwiddie, the head coach of the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.